If Donald Trump thought that his Jeffrey Epstein scandal would just go away, he was sorely mistaken. And it's not just because Democrats continue to put the pressure on the Trump administration, both privately, publicly, and in Congress, but because Republicans as well, whether they mean to or not, continue to bring this up. And the latest example might be the worst yet for Trump. A Republican caught on a hot mic exposing exactly what we all knew, but making it public. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into what this Republican congressman had to say, I want to start with the Democratic congressman who has been beating this drum the entire time. That's Ro Khanna with the update that we need on the Epstein files.
Would your committee plan to subpoena these two executors of the Epstein estate as well?
We certainly would if they are relevant, and it looks like they will be relevant. But the first step is just to get the documents. And like I said, their lawyers have already made a representation to us that they fully intended to comply. Unlike the Justice Department, where it's hard to get compliance. I mean, the Justice Department only released 1% of the files. Of that 1%, 97% was already information in the public domain, and you're expecting the Justice Department to prosecute itself. That's a very hard bar. But private individuals don't have that protection. So if they don't comply with a congressional subpoena, then they really risk prosecution, criminal prosecution, both the lawyers and the executors of the estate. So I fully expect that they will comply.
Reporter Julie K. Brown has been out in front of the story from the beginning, has raised questions about whether the Justice Department ever really investigated Epstein's wealth. Do you think the documents that you're trying to obtain could provide a link between Epstein's finances and anyone else who might have been involved in crimes?
Absolutely. The reality is we do not believe that the Justice Department looked in comprehensively to all of the money. Following the money is the first principle of these investigations. I've spoken to many of the victims' lawyers who have said that there was not a comprehensive investigation. And that's one reason that Massey in my bill calls for the full release, not just of the files from the Justice Department, but also from some of the financial agencies in government. So we have a comprehensive approach to this, but putting it very simply, all we want is transparency. Get the files out there. Let's know who the people were who were committing the abuse. Let's know where the money went, and let's finally have closure for many of the victims.
Ro Khanna has been relentless in bringing attention and putting pressure on the Trump administration as it relates to the Epstein files. And we're going to be talking to him later this week about a press conference that he is going to be holding, making sure that as Democrats come back to D.C., they are not forgetting about this scandal. I see y'all comment every single day that we need to keep the pressure up, and Ro Khanna is doing that. And it is having a real effect on Donald Trump, who was recently, once again, asked about his Epstein scandal. And you can imagine what his answer would be. It's very different from what this Republican said on the hot mic clip that we're going to check out.
Your Justice Department is also sending some of the Epstein files over to the House Oversight Committee today. Are you in support of them releasing all of them?
Keeping it open.
If they wanted to release,
people shouldn't be hurt, but I'm in support of keeping it totally open. I couldn't care less. You got a lot of people that it could be mentioned in those files that don't deserve to be. People, because he knew everybody in Palm Beach. I don't know anything about that, but I have said to Pam and everybody else, give them everything you can give them, because it's a Democrat hoax. It's just a hoax. The whole Epstein thing is a Democrat hoax. So we had the greatest 6 months, 7 months in the history of the presidency, and the Democrats don't know what to do, so they keep bringing up that stuff. But it affected them. Bill Clinton was on his plane and went to the island supposedly 28 times. I don't want to bring that up, frankly. You have Larry, whatever his name is, Summers, the head of Harvard, who was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. Nobody ever talks about that. I mean,
oh, of course, it's a hoax. It's a lie. It's the Democrats. It's Obama. It's George Soros. It's me at this point. I'm the reason. I created the files. I'm surprised Donald Trump hasn't started looping in Midas Touch and Brian Tyler Cohen to his conspiracy theories, but he will say anything to divert attention, which is why what this Republican just got caught saying is so difficult. And I want to take a look right here. Hot mic catches Republicans saying Trump is in the Epstein files. MAGA lawmaker Mike Collins lobbed a political grenade into efforts from Team Trump to limit his exposure to fallout from the Epstein files. Georgia Republican Mike Collins made a bombshell admission that he believes Donald Trump's name will be in the Epstein files at a county GOP meeting, the Washington Examiner reported. A constituent asked the MAGA lawmaker whether he believed Trump was in the files related to Jeffrey Epstein and the disgraced financiers, offender who died by suicide while in federal custody in New York City as he awaited trial on his trafficking charges. Yeah, I'm sure he's in there, Collins said without providing evidence, according to an audio-only clip of the exchange in an uploaded YouTube video titled "Hot Mike, Republican Caught Saying Trump is in the Epstein Files." The White House has repeatedly pushed back after reports emerged that Trump was told in May that he was in the files related to Epstein. Trump and Epstein were once friendly, but the president said they fell out in 2004. The White House, in response, called this a fake story. In June, billionaire SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk also claimed, then appeared to backtrack, that Trump was named in the Epstein files. Yeah, a little difficult to avoid the topic when even your closest supporters in Congress are admitting that you're in the Epstein files, but I don't think Donald Trump cares at this point. He's just trying to push through. He thinks if he keeps flooding the zone and giving us other stuff to talk about, that ultimately we will forget. And largely, the mainstream media has been okay with that. They gave a good month of coverage to this story. Great investigative journalism was done. But now they've moved on because they can never hold Trump accountable. They can never really hold Trump accountable. But someone is, not just calling out Trump, but the rest of the members of the media who refuse to do so at the same level. That was Lawrence O'Donnell, and I want to take a look at what he had to say.
And most of the White House press corps does not care. Nothing can make them care. Most of the White House press corps has no idea what any of those victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell have said under oath about what happened to them. We are watching the worst president in history manipulate the worst White House press corps in history every day. But not Catherine Lacey and not Nancy Cortez, not today. It was Catherine Lucy of Bloomberg who got Donald Trump to lie about the J.D. Vance meeting, about the Epstein situation.
Is President Vance hosting a gathering this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
Is he working on what?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know. I could ask you that question.
Donald Trump knows. That was Donald Trump lying. Everyone in that room knows that Donald Trump was lying when he said he doesn't know if his vice president was having a meeting about him. The other reporters in that room did not care that Donald Trump just lied to their faces and laughed at them, saying, I don't know, I could ask you that question. These are the same White House reporters, many of them, who screamed at Joe Biden in unison about the same subject when they believed their job was to attack him. And when they teamed up to attack Joe Biden's White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, they conducted coordinated, screaming attacks on her. And Donald Trump stands there and lies to their faces, insults them, and laughs at them, and they accept it. Here's the rest of what Donald Trump said in response to Catherine Lucy of Bloomberg.
I don't know. I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but I think here's the man right here.
I saw it reported today, and it's completely fake news. We're not meeting to talk about the Epstein situation, and I think the reporter who reported it needs to get better sources.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country, and that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit, okay?
They're used to it now. They are completely beaten down. The White House press corps hears the President of the United States in the Oval Office use profanity, and they have absolutely no reaction to it whatsoever. The first president in history to do that. And he now does it repeatedly, especially about this subject. The Epstein situation, which is really the Trump situation, is what pushes Donald Trump to use that word and use it repeatedly. Donald Trump brings his deviancy into the Oval Office and flashes it for all to see and hear, his vulgarity, his profanity. Most of us use profanity, but most of us know when it's inappropriate. We don't use words like that in church. We don't use words like that with children. We don't use words like that here on this program. And children have been listening admiringly to presidents of the United States since the invention of radio. And children have only heard one president in history descend into the puddle of profanity that Donald Trump routinely uses. Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan used to use the phrase defining deviancy down to describe what Donald Trump has done to presidential conduct and presidential language. Donald Trump has defined the deviancy down to his personal deviancy. And the entire Republican Party supporting Donald Trump has succumbed to Donald Trump's deviancy. His deviancy includes repeatedly giving his best wishes to sex criminal child rapist Ghislaine Maxwell. He said, "I wish her well," when he was asked about her while she was in jail awaiting trial, a trial where she was convicted. Donald Trump was a friend of Ghislaine Maxwell, and apparently he's behaving as if he still is. And now every meeting at the White House is about how to get Donald Trump out of the photograph that we have of Donald Trump right here.
Everyone in the media should take a page out of Lawrence O'Donnell's book. This is what it looks like to actually do your job, to care about the issues that you report on, and to take a step back and look at your role in journalism, your role in holding this authoritarian administration accountable. It is not just to talk about whatever slop they may give you in a single day. It's to examine why they are trying to get you to talk about something else, why they are positioning themselves in such ways. And the mainstream media doesn't do that. They just kind of pick up and go with whatever Trump wants, whatever Carolyn Levitt says, whatever distraction of the day Fox News is coming up with. But we can't do that. We have to be vigilant. We have to break down not just the stories themselves, but why they're happening. Whether it is a distraction or a purposeful action for Donald Trump to expand the power of his criminal, corrupt, gangster regime. And I promise you we're going to be doing that every single day on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.